Good morning. We began with continuing coverage here, streaming live on the 11 Alive Plus app, keeping you on top of the weather and traffic situation.
Yeah, this heavy rain and wind and lightning caused all kinds of problems, from overturned semi-trucks to a possible fire started by lightning this morning.
Meteorologist Chesley McNeil keeping you on top of the forecast as we expect for this to only intensify and stick around for the rest of the morning. Chesley.
Absolutely. It's going to be with us really all morning long. We'll be dealing with some very heavy rain, some moderate pockets, very widespread so far this morning, but we have some heavy rain embedded in a few of these. A couple thunderstorms have been around so far this morning, but none of which have been on the severe side. When we talk about severe thunderstorms, we mean winds up to about 58, maybe 60 miles per hour, and we haven't seen that, but we have seen the gust outside of thunderstorms up to about 40, 45 miles per hour. Look at the widespread rain up here to the north. You got some heavy pockets in there indicated by that orange, and then some of that red now just twisting to the east of the city of Atlanta. These storms were a little bit stronger back over to the south and west of us, but moved in our area and started to weaken just a little bit. We had those temperatures on the cooler side, but now starting to see those temperatures warm up a little bit and warm front down to the south of us. So we'll watch these temperatures begin to rise. That could lead to some instability, which means we could see a few more of those thunderstorms around. But for the most part, we'll be dealing with the heavy rain and the winds. That's going to be our major threat, at least as we head into the rest of the morning. Now, here's Atlanta here, just to the east. You see that very heavy rain coming down over toward McDonough area. Very heavy rain coming down. A few lightning strikes. You see a few of them around, but not very widespread. Most of that has been, again, some very heavy rain. You run into some light rain, and then you get another pocket of some moderate rain coming down. This is the way it's going to be really for the rest of the morning. Up here to the north, it's been very widespread as far as the moderate rain goes. From Somerville over to Calhoun into Ellijay, we do have some heavier pockets in here. Not very many lightning strikes up here to the north. It's just been that very heavy rain, and we've had that since last night as well. And that's going to continue as we head through the morning as well. Again, with those gusty winds, the winds have been a little bit stronger up here to the north as well, up in the North Georgia mountains. So that could lead to power outages, folks. We've been talking about that all morning long as well. And so we'll be watching that as the ground is starting to get a little soaked out there, but those winds could topple over some trees. This is one little round that went through. You see another one back off to the west of us, and numerous lightning strikes with this, especially down toward the Montgomery, Alabama area. Even further south is where you run into a tornado threat. We've been seeing some tornado warnings popping up as you get closer to the Gulf. I suspect that severe weather will remain down to the south as it continues to slide over toward the east. So over the central and southern portions of our state, there's a greater threat for severe weather to be around. Isolated, strong, severe thunderstorm possible in our area. Again, the greatest threat will be down a little bit further down to the south. Again, most of that wet weather has been on the heavy side further off to the north. Now, we can expect to see anywhere between 1 and 3 inches of additional rainfall today. There could be some isolated spots that can get to the 4-inch range. We'll be watching for that as well as we head through the rest of the morning. A lot of this will begin to subside as we head toward the afternoon. Once we get past 11, 12 o'clock, the rain will be gone, but the flooding could continue, folks. We have a flood watch that remains in effect through tonight. A flood watch means that we're watching for the potential for flooding. So even after the rain is gone, you're talking about the runoff still affecting our area, creeks and streams and rivers, of course, and that could lead to some flooding in some spots, especially those spots that you know are flood prone. You definitely need to stay away from those, certainly pounding on the roadways as well. And again, additional 1 to 3 inches could help with that. Up to 4 inches in some spots, especially up to the north where it has been moderate really all morning long. That's going to lead to some problems for us. Not only the flooding and the rain, but we also have to deal with the wind. And wind, anywhere between 15, 25 miles per hour. Gust has been in the 45 mile per hour range. And so we have been clocking that. And that's been area wide. You'll get up here to the north in our northernmost counties, from Murray County, Fanning, Gilmer County, Union Towns County, White, Lumpkin, and Dawson County. That's where we can see those gusts up to about 50 miles per hour plus. Okay, and that could lead to trees being toppled over, maybe falling on power lines, and lead to some power outages up here to the north. And those are our threats, folks, mainly the wind and the heavy rain for us, but we can't rule out strong to severe thunderstorms pushing into the area as well. We'll give it a window now between 8 and about 9 o'clock where we could see those thunderstorms roll through the area. Look at the temperatures right now. Down here to the south, very warm. We got temperatures in the 60s already. Thomaston at 61, 50 right now in Peachtree City. You got 48 over toward Carrollton. We're in the 40s up here to the north where we started out this morning with temperatures in the 30s. Those temperatures have begun to climb already. Watching a warm front that's down here to the south of us, if that is able to move through the area, will add to the instability, and that could increase our chances, or our threat at least, for the severe weather to be around. Make sure you grab the coat and the umbrella. You're going to need that to stay dry at least, and rain will be with us again at least through about noon today. 61 for that high temperature. We'll hit that again right around the noon hour. I'm expecting that to be the case. Notice down here to the south toward the Gulf Coast states, especially over the panhandle of Florida, is where we're starting to see some some of those tornado warnings popping up here. Most of that has been down to the south and is continuing to march over toward the east. So I suspect even as it moves further into our state, it will remain, especially for the southwestern portions of the state, but the southern portions of the state, under the gun for the greatest threat for severe weather. We have a level 3 threat here, an enhanced risk for severe weather that starts to lessen a little bit once we get further to the north. With all that rain that we've had around this morning so far, that's helping us out to remain on the stable side. So you're noticing those thunderstorms just off to the west of us over into Alabama as they move across the border start to fall apart just a little bit. And that's some good news for us. But again, the nuisance is having to deal with all this wet weather, all this rain that we've been dealing with certainly would lead to some flooding. Got that front that's going to push through. Once that front gets by us, the rain will begin to subside. The winds will stay a little higher, but colder air will start to advect into the area as well. So as this begins to taper off, we'll still have a few lingering showers around. If the cold air, as the cold air begins to advect in the area, if the moisture is still in place, we could see a little bit of mixing taking place, especially up in the North Georgia mountains, and maybe even the metro area, maybe a flurry or two. Talked about the severe weather. You can see the level 3 threat down to the south of us. This yellow indicates a level 2 threat or a slight risk for severe weather. That's down toward the Macon area. It does include some of our southernmost counties like Troup and Meriwether County, down through Upson County. The level 1 threat, just to the south of the city, that dark green shade, extends in our southernmost counties and over into the Athens area. This is where isolated strong to severe thunderstorms are possible. You see further up to the north, that light green shade just means a general threat from Rome down through Atlanta. And so the major threat for severe weather will be down to the south of us right on through the afternoon. So we're looking at, again, heavy rain, which will lead to some flooding and you slowing down on the roads, especially if you have to go out. Damaging winds certainly possible as well. Very low tornado threat in our area. That is higher a little bit further down to the south, and then the hail threat, not so much worried about that at all. Crash Clark is standing by with a look at some of the roads out there. So far, Crash, a lot of ponding we've been hearing about.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on out there too, Chesley. A lot of ponding. We know we're not out of the woods just yet. In fact, we've been keeping an eye on this major situation out on 316. This is westbound. The flow of traffic for a morning rush hour right as you're approaching Boggs Road and I-85, and you can see that traffic. It's got to move all the way over to that right emergency lane just to get around it. And believe me, the damage is done. Look at the overall map there. A lot of red, a lot of orange, a lot of those little icons indicating all those wrecks. Let's get to the big one here. 316, this is westbound, right as you're trying to ramp onto I-85 southbound, right as you're approaching Boggs Road. And they've been out there, Gwinnett County Police tweeting out that they were investigating that wreck. So they still have to clear that out of the way while they continue to investigate. And in the meantime, it is bumper to bumper coming in from Lawrenceville. So do yourself a favor, even though it's going to be crowded, Highway 120 is going to be your alternate. All right, we've got plenty more to go here. Let's get right to I-20. This is westbound right near Columbia Drive as you're approaching inside the perimeter, Columbia and Candler. This is a spot where we've seen so much flooding, and we always see wrecks during the rain. Folks coming around that corner, I guess, a little too quickly and then spin out and hit that wall. Excuse me. This is where it sits. I-20 westbound past Columbia Drive. Couple of left lanes blocked. So if you're rolling in from East Atlanta, big time heads up. A lot of folks like to use Memorial as an alternate. This is what started the rush hour. An overturned tractor trailer. This is on the 85 northbound ramp to 285 eastbound down south by the airport. They've been out there since 4:30 this morning with that ramp completely blocked off. We've been given Highway 29 as your alternate coming up from Fairburn or Union City. A lot of folks even using Old National Highway just to get to the perimeter, and then you could skirt around it. But they are still out there trying to get this tractor trailer back on its wheels and get it out of there. Got a multi-car crash on the connector northbound. This is at Freedom Parkway. The thing about this is these vehicles do not look like they're heavily damaged, and we have to remember the law. If you can steer it, clear it. That is the law. You don't wait in the middle of the road for your lawyer to show up or for police to show up. You can steer it off to the right and then wait for help, and they will go ahead and fix things for you. But if you look to the right of your screen there, in fact, hang on a second, I can actually point that out. These cars right there, looks like they've all tapped into each other. The good news, nobody getting out of their vehicle. We certainly don't want that, but they're sitting on the connector northbound right at Freedom Parkway. That's pushing you all the way back beyond University and 166. So a very rough ride for those of you that need to get out on that connector northbound. The overall map, as we showed you before, a lot of yellow, a lot of red. Looks like new trouble now on 75 southbound as you're approaching Northside Drive. 285 eastbound, trouble up top right near Powers Ferry and and the river. And of course, we had flooding and standing water off Macklin Road out there in Paulding County. So we're not done with this yet. There's a lot of wet weather out here that's still coming, and I know a lot of you have to get to the roadways here 7:10 in the morning. We are definitely looking at a very, very wet ride. But again, this is going to be your hot spot here, 316 westbound, that ramp to I-85 southbound. So please be careful if you do have to head out. Speaking of heading out, Jerry Carnes has been in the Thunder truck, and he's going to give us a live look now and tell us what exactly they're seeing. They have been dealing with a lot of heavy traffic. Jerry, I know it's been a rough morning for you. Where are you guys?
We're looking at that crash, 316 westbound at Boggs Road, and I've got some good news. Take a look at that. They have all but cleared this crash. You still got one single Gwinnett County police officer off to the left, but traffic just a moment ago was slipping by in the emergency lane. We had a multi-vehicle crash here, and they have put them all up on tow trucks. One tow truck off to the right there, still on the scene. But as you can see, there goes the Gwinnett County police officer. They are reopening all lanes of 316 westbound here at Boggs Road, so we can give the all clear here. You're still going to see some flashing lights as you move past this area, but basically all lanes are open. If you're traveling out of Lawrenceville, you are once again clear to take 316 westbound to make your way on to I-85. Rain here is now moderate. We have seen heavy pockets of rain throughout the morning. We have seen frequent lightning all morning long, and we have seen at times some ponding on the roadways, specifically I-285 at Church Street in Clarkston, around Stone Mountain Freeway, Highway 78. We spotted some ponding. We also saw some GDOT crews out clearing the drains around in that area in order to get rid of that ponding, and then we ran into a little bit more of it 285 northbound right near Spaghetti Junction. I would imagine a GDOT crew responded to that as well. So at times we've seen ponding on the roadways. Right now the rain is much more moderate. We haven't seen any lightning in a while, but a lot of crashes out there. So just keep your speed down as you're traveling around the area this morning. Melissa.
And Jerry, just what you're talking about with all the waterlogged roadways, that's one of the facets we were talking about on the news at 4 yesterday, is that if you have the option of working from home for a couple of hours this morning, we'd recommend doing so. Because of how much rain is coming down, the roads are really like a soaked sponge, and some of those storm drains are clogged up. So that's why we have running into so many standing water issues on the roadways. I want to get some new information to you. If we can put Dual in the touch right here, we have a brand new tornado watch, not for our area, but in southern Georgia, that just came out while Jerry was talking about the road conditions. This is going to be for the Columbus area, kind of down to Americus and points south of that. So this is not for our area specifically, but you notice here we had a tornado watch that Chesley has been tracking all morning. That's been for southeastern Alabama, the panhandle of Florida, but now there's a new tornado watch. This one runs until 2 o'clock. And Columbus area is right here. So it's south of Columbus, so it's south of Troup County. And this is into southwestern Georgia. So that's where the ingredients are going to come together the most for that threat of severe weather. And that's where there is a level 3 threat of severe weather for today. You can see in that tan shade on the map, that includes all of southwest Georgia. That's Macon right there. So south of Macon into southeastern Georgia and northern Florida as well. So that's where the greatest threat of tornadoes and damaging winds will be. But you notice that some of those severe weather thresholds, the categories of risk areas, also extend up into our area. We've been watching a lot more stable air, cooler temperatures here in far north Georgia, which is limiting our severe weather threat, and that's great. But as we see the sun coming up this morning, it's possible we can't rule out an isolated stronger storm. So we have this level 2 threat. This is Greene County right here, Putnam County, and down towards Thomaston and Lamar counties at the level 2 threat. And a level 1 threat for Athens down to McDonough and Spalding, Pike counties there. So very low threat that we could see an isolated strong to severe storm. But where everything's going to come together, most likely for the severe weather, is going to stay south of our area altogether. So that's good news, but it doesn't mean that storm system's not still bringing impacts, because we're seeing it widespread across the area. Cherokee County emergency managers just reported they had about 5 different trees down that have come throughout the county that's caused some power outages. They're trying to remove those trees from the roadways, but rainfall totals are going to be impressive. This could be our wettest calendar day alone in about a year if we end up with over 2 inches of rain since midnight. Last time we had a 2-inch rain day, that was back on January 22nd of last year, 2023. So rainfall totals 2 to 3 inches. Some of those are higher. What comes in the aftermath of that is not just the creek and stream levels rising, but eventually we could see the levels of some of our rivers rising a little bit, including the Chattahoochee. Wind gusts, we've been watching some of those non-thunderstorm wind gusts over 30 miles per hour. In fact, there was a gust to 71 miles per hour at Brasstown Ball. That's Georgia's highest peak in the North Georgia mountains. But Chesley's been talking about that high wind warning up there. And then, as I mentioned, that severe threat on the south side of the metro. So let's go over your school day forecast. If you're trying to get the kids out the door, they don't have a school delay or cancellation for today, you might want to, take the car to the bus stop. Let them wait in the car for a little bit because it is going to be very wet. The rain is coming down steady and it's not going to let up for any of these schools that are getting in this morning. But by the ride home this afternoon, much better conditions moving in. For those kids who get out at 2 o'clock, we should be dry by then. 3 o'clock, dry by then. 4 o'clock, dry by then. So all the afternoon commute should be looking okay. So we're watching these stronger storms potentially down in southern Georgia. There could be a few isolated stronger storms there on the south side of the metro the next couple of hours this morning. But that really heavy area of rain continues pushing eastward over the coming hours. So as we get closer to 10 o'clock this morning, that's moving through Athens. And then by noon, it's out of here. We still have some lingering rain at noon, but we'll be drying things out very quickly from west to east between about 11 and 1 o'clock this afternoon. We catch some dry hours this afternoon, but then that cold air spills in. And there is that chance this evening there could be a couple flakes mixing in with some light rain showers on the north side of the metro this evening. Some of those light snow showers and flurries may continue in the mountains, but we don't expect impacts there. So a lot to delve into what's to come, but also a lot what's happening out the door right now. For more on that, let's get the latest on what's happening with radar with our meteorologist, Chesley McNeil.
All right, thanks a lot, Melissa. Yeah, you can see that very heavy rain coming down. That rain has been with us pretty all night long. Now lasting into the morning. It will last right on through the rest of our morning into early afternoon. Very widespread as far as the moderate rain goes. It's indicated by the yellow. Those oranges in there indicate some heavy rain. Really heavy rain once you see some of that red. We had a line move through earlier. Now we have another line that's pushing through the area. One back behind that, and even another one back behind that. Closer to the front, I think, is where we're going to see the most intense winds and also the very heavy rain that's going to be coming down. Expect that between now and about 9 o'clock before some of that heavy rain begins to shift a little bit further over toward the east of us. It's been coming down, and we've been hearing some rumbles of thunder. I'm sure some of that has woken you up this morning. It's been very isolated as far as the thunderstorms go around the area. You may be seeing numerous lightning strikes, but not a whole lot in our area. Back off to the west of us, those thunderstorms were quite numerous, especially over into Alabama, but they crossed the border and now started to weaken just a little bit. Forest Park right now, you got some heavy rain over you, over toward McDonough and southern Henry or central Henry County, down in the southern portions as well. Locust Grove, you got some heavy rain as well. Look at that rain right there. Once you get south of Griffin into south of Spalding County, you got some very heavy rain that's headed toward the Barnesville area. Your rain has been light to moderate so far, but that rain will continue to be heavy as we head through the other areas as well. You know, one of the places that floods a lot is Big Creek and Alpharetta. Even if we don't see a lot of rain, and we've been hearing about flooding up there as well, kind of hard to get to, and most of the time it's moderate flooding that will take place at the height. Mainly minor flooding that will be taking place over there, but Big Creek, one of the areas that is flooding so far this morning. Thanks for that information, Melissa. We're looking at, again, very moderate rainfall coming down. It's a little bit more widespread up here to the north from Dade, Walker County, all the way back to western portions of Fanning and Gilmer County as well. Again, where you see these oranges in here, for example, Ellijay over toward Calhoun, right along I-75 there, heading a little bit further down to the south is where the rain has been coming down pretty steady and heavy. Okay, we got that steady, moderate rain that's continuing up toward the north as well. This is going to continue to be the case as we head through the rest of the morning and into early afternoon. We don't expect this rain to begin to subside until we get past noon today, but we could see some isolated showers in the area. Behind the front that's going to move through, the air is going to cool down, and as it does, we'll start to see maybe some mixing taking place with some of this rain, with some flurries, mainly up here to the North Georgia mountains where you find it. Can't rule out a flake or two flying around for the metro area. I think most of that will stay further off to the north of us. Wind is a drying agent, and even after after the rain begins to end, the wind will still be around, so that'll help to dry us out as well as we begin to cool down. And so we're going to watch those temperatures really start to fall down later on tonight. Melissa talked about this severe weather threat. For us, it's more of an isolated chance for some strong to severe thunderstorms. This dark green area right here is what we call a marginal risk, a level 1 threat. So an isolated strong severe, certainly severe thunderstorm could pop up, but it's a little more likely once you get down into the 2 and the 3 level threat areas. That level 3 threat is an enhanced risk. You have it from Augusta that extends a little bit further down to the south, especially over the southern portions of the state. We've been seeing that so far over into central and southern parts of Mississippi and into Alabama. It's going to continue for the southern portions of our state later on this morning as well. So we'll keep you updated if anything happens to turn severe. We'll keep you locked right here. Let's go over to Chris Clark now with a check on the roads.
All right, Chesley, let me give you a little bit of good news while we're out and about. Even though we do have a red alert, we've got all lanes back open on Highway 316 westbound at I-85. Still going to take a while to recover. A lot of folks still going to use Highway 120 as that alternate. We're going to continue to watch this one. They just cleared it. I-20 westbound past Columbia Drive. That wreck is cleared, but again, going to take a little while to recover. This one, unfortunately, going to be with us for quite a long time. 85 northbound ramp to 285 eastbound. That's the overturned tractor trailer. They are still trying to clear it, still holding that ramp. Highway 29, that is your alternate if you are coming up from the south side. Back to you guys.
All right, as we get ready to log off here on 11 Alive Plus, we got some updated school closures. Pickens County has upgraded from a school delay to a complete closure today.
All right, that list getting a lot longer. We've got it continuing to update all those informations for you on 11alive.com and here on 11 Alive Plus, and we will update on air at 11 Alive throughout the day. Stay safe out there, everybody.